Hi, Kevin here. This is a 2013 Ford Ranger PX, 2.2 litre diesel, and I've had it since pretty much brand new, and it's got about 127,000 kilometres on the clock now, and it's been a terrific car. I've only really sort of had to change the tyres, which I did at about 96,000 k's, and got the windows tinted and keep the thing serviced. And yeah, it's been a really good car until last week. The transmission light came on, and then the engine light came on. So local mechanic serviced my transmission and changed the oil in the engine, along with filters and everything else that the mechanics do. And drove away from the mechanics, and the lights came back on. So I've shot back there, and he put the diagnostic tool on it, and it came up as no faults. But the car did go into limp mode, which is most annoying, and so I thought, well, he can't help me on the day because he's got half a dozen cars in the workshop he's got to get through. So I went to Autobarn and bought my own diagnostic tool and plugged it into the OBD 2 plug underneath the dash. I went for a nice long drive, and it came up as a mass airflow fault. That's your mass airflow sensor there, and that's as good as gold, but it's the manifold absolute pressure sensor, which more likely the cause, which I took out. That's just a T30 torque screw. I took that out and give it a clean and give it a bit of a spray out inside there once I took the hose off, and with the throttle body cleaner, which you can also get from Autobarn. But as it turns out, there's a nice big split in the intercooler hose. So I thought, well, that's more likely the problem. That causes a misfire in the engine, and if the engine's misfiring, then the auto transmission plays up, which means all these fault lights come on. And really the fault is just pushed downhill, or uphill in this case, from the transmission back to the motor. And so I glued that back up and taped it up, put it all back on, cleared the faults, which you can do through the diagnostic tool, and went for a nice long drive, and what do you know, everything's as good as gold. So I've got a new hose, intercooler hose, to put on there, and that'll only take about 5 minutes to do. I've got my little set of bits, and the 932 bit will actually fit the nut that's on top of that. You can take that off, which is attached to your headlights, and then you can actually get easier to the one down the bottom there. And really it is a fairly quick fix once you realise what the problem is. So I'll just change that over, and I reckon the car will be as good as gold. But if you've got 100,000 k's on your Ranger and it starts playing up and the engine light comes on, this is where you go to first. Unless you've been at the petrol station and forgot to put your petrol, and forgot to put the diesel cap back on your fuel tank. But this is what plays up, and even if you can't feel the split, when you run your hand, it'll be underneath, and if you squeeze the hose, chances are it's going to be there, because that rubber softens up. And it is a pressure hose, so it expands and retracts, and eventually it's going to split. This is a silicone replacement, and you can pick them up off of eBay for about $100, and it's turned up thanks to Australia Post. And I'm going to change it over, and I can pretty much guarantee the car's going to be as good as gold. Thanks everyone.